I started doing this social media marketing job, and my first salary from that, I worked as a social media marketer for this makeup brand that scammed me. I find it very funny in a way that people are like, the Hindi phrase is very much more accurate, so I'll just say it like baap ke paise pe ऐश कर रहे हैं.
Whenever I'm sad, I spend. Then I'm happy.
The most cliche statement. Do you think money can buy happiness? The scarcity mindset that the only way I can have money is by saving all of it, is by really controlling my expenses, but I really don't think that's a good energy to put out. I would spend on experiences over materialistic goods always. Alrighty. So what was the first thing you got when you started making meaningful adult money?
Very good question. I don't remember.
Are you
I
kidding me?
seriously don't remember. I just remember my first paycheck.
Uh-huh.
That was I started my internship back in India as a
How much was
digital
it?
social media, and I got 8,000 per month. And I was so happy. I was like, 8,000, bro! I'll buy this, I'll buy that. And when I went to the market and all of that, I'm like, nothing. 8,000 is nothing.
It is not.
I'm like, what the fuck, bro? Why would I do this? But
How
yeah,
old were
that's
you
it.
though?
I think I was pretty
What?
old. Like in my university, I started it. So it was like
21, 22?
22, I guess. 22.
Yeah, that's good.
That much. But I also used to, I've never sit free.
That's cute.
Right, so I used to
Yeah.
take coachings also, and I used to go to coaching centers, and so I always had some money coming in. I was 3,000 per month, 5,000 per month, something going on since my 10th
Yeah.
grade, because I don't know how to sit free. But you tell me about your big purchase and how much was your first paycheck?
Alrighty, so wow. I started with creating content as my career or whatever. I mean, I did not start with it as it's going to be a career, but I started making videos, and along the way, once I clearly remember, there was this collaboration with a brand with a contest. So whoever got I still remember it so vividly. It's funny. It was some aloe vera gel brand. I don't even remember the brand's name, but I remember the contest
Is
for
it
real.
Wow?
It's not.
Oh.
It was a very old some brand, dude. Some
Patanjali?
I really don't. It was.
I'm just
I
guessing.
really don't remember the name, cutie. No, but I really don't. Regardlessly, I made a video for their aloe vera gel, and I actually won that contest. And I got 2,000 rupees as there was 2,000 bucks as the first money. And that was
As
my
the first winner.
First, I was the winner. Well, I won that little contest. I made the content, and that was that. And then I did one video for Hair Masters as modeling for their ad commercial. And I did not know that I could have charged so much more. Yeah. I got 6,000 rupees in cash, and I still have a picture of it. I'll probably upload it for the video viewers. It's still me with the smiling ear to ear holding 3 2,000 rupee notes. And then I started doing this social media marketing job, and my first salary from that, I worked as a social media marketer for this makeup brand that scammed me. Another day, another story time about that.
Really?
They really did. Nevertheless, Cal Los
No, but
Angeles.
tell me the scam. I want to hear
You
the
really
scam
wanna know?
first.
Okay, I actually made a product with them. Those who have been following for a while know that it was Cal Los Angeles X Kurish Kaur.
Oh yeah,
I
you
told you
told
about
me,
that.
yeah,
Yeah. So there were 2 lipsticks that launched on my birthday with the colors that I curated, that I intended to curate, but well, because of the brand intervention, it wasn't exactly what I wanted. But me, and I used to back in the day start all my videos saying Ola Beauties, and so were the shade names called Ola and Beauties.
Oh,
Yeah, it was a birthday launch
thoughtful.
and everything, and I was supposed to get 20% of every lipstick piece sold for in perpetuity, as royalty, because it was product created by me, and I got 0 rupees paid till date, and that still sells on some e-commerce websites in India. Till date, just because I was working there as a job thing, I did not get it really on paper. All the terms we discussed, and they kind of were nah. I was like,
yeah.
the fuck.
That's why everybody says, get it on paper, get it on paper.
was
Get
20
everything in
years
contract.
old, dude.
I know.
Yeah.
But you were so young to have that. Very
Exactly.
nice. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, but
Very
anyways, that
nice.
brand. So whilst working with them, my monthly salary was 35,000. And bro, somebody who's not even completed their graduation getting a salary of 35,000, I really felt like I lucked out. Bro, I used to feel rich.
That was good because back in that time,
Yeah.
when we were 20 and when you were in
Yeah.
college, that money is
That's big money for a first year, second year old.
yeah, because I think
That is
there's
big money.
starting packages are 50,000-60,000 I think a month, but that's
Yeah.
a good start.
That was good money with like no formal degree or experience in marketing, by the way. I was working with 30 something year olds and they used to always look down upon me like, who is she who just marches in, gives all these ideas that we have to fucking execute. I wasn't really liked there, I'm gonna be honest.
Really?
It's only
Damn.
the HOD who used to love me like almost like a kid of her own, because literally her daughter was my age. But she used to adore me, which is why I think everybody else hated me even more, because I was her favorite.
I know. I think back in my office
Yeah.
also, when I transitioned from internship to job, I was a kind of a person who won't listen to most of the people who
Yeah.
were saying. And the thing was that environment was toxic. That was toxic. Toxic as in the boss, like the owner of the company. I don't
Yeah.
mind if they're hearing it, but the boss, he used to yell as not at me, like I
Gotcha.
I'm like, what the fuck, bro? My father won't yell at me, who are you to yell at me? But he was like, when he's angry, he was like, why did you not do this and that? And we could hear the sounds in the another
Got it.
room,
Cabin,
like in another cabin, right? And then I was like, this is not good. And there were a lot of politics in that office, the HR, all of this. I
Yeah.
am not sure.
Yeah.
But then somehow I transitioned to this job, the one I'm currently doing.
Yeah. My ex-boss, it's kind of funny. So, okay, it was a hybrid role, which means like work from home and office, right? But the hybrid was more so over like a work from home thingy. And this bitch used to think she can call me anytime. When I say anytime, I mean 12 a.m. Raat ke 12 baje. Like 12, like she, it's not even that, oh, she's calling me like at 8. No. There was no time whatsoever, for which is something I hated so much. I told her so many times, I'm like, bro, work-life balance.
Yeah.
You call me anytime between my designated hours. 11 to 5 were my designated hours, by the way.
Wow, very cool job.
Yeah, it was kind of cool, not gonna lie.
11 to
It was
5.
also because as far as I did my thing, they were cool.
Yeah.
I was a social media marketer, so I had to do some tasks, and as far as I did my tasks in the given time frame, they were pretty chill. But this lady was having just a whole midlife crisis with regards to her brand in totality and the marketing, and she would just call me anytime. I think the fact that she loved me too much, she excused it as just calling me anytime, bro. I've been on calls with my friends and she would be like texting me, and she would text like 20 texts in a row.
Oh,
I'm like, that's so as unprofessional as it gets, by the way.
toxic
The whole,
ex.
yeah, kind of. It was so funny. Like, she'll be like, hey there, girl.
Dang.
My best friend till date like teases me on that. Like, sometimes if I'm not answering her call, she'll be like, hey there, hey girl, hey urgent girl. And it's just because replicating her. I'm like,
I'll also say
yes.
that now. Urgent. Because you don't, she doesn't reply to me very often. She's very bad at texting. I know, like,
Generally, I
I'll
am.
call her and she'll
Yeah.
pick it up, but
Yeah.
I'm very bad at calling. That's why.
What a fucking duo.
Just don't call me. Text me. Unless it's life threatening, just don't call me.
No, I'm like, if you actually want a response now, call me.
I really want to talk about money and how money for women especially or for us it's so different than boys or men are earning. I think we talked about how scarcity and abundance mindset
Yeah.
matters a lot,
Yeah.
so which is practical and which is nice. So what are your thoughts?
Well, I have first-hand experience both. I have, if I go a little back, because I think this needs some context and a backstory to it. I have always been raised with an abundance mindset, even though we probably might not even have had as much money growing up, but just like my parents, my mother never really made me feel that we didn't have as much, right? So we have always grown up with an abundance mindset, like there's enough, and that just belief and faith system around, and that I will attract money because I am putting in the hard work and the right intent. It always, comes along. And I've just spent money, especially in my freelance gigs, the way like I'm making a certain expense and I'm like, it will come. from somewhere, somehow, and it used to, so it's kind of funny. So we've always had that, but as and when, again, relocated, moved countries, started the student life, and really cheaped out. I used to feel so like stingy sometimes, and it used to feel like that's so not me. To be so like cautious about spending, and again a scarcity mindset that the only way I can have money is by saving all of it, is by really controlling my expenses. But I really don't think that's a good energy to put out.
I think you gave a good definition of scarcity mindset. That is not being scared of money. That's a literal money meaning of it. Like being scared of the money. Like if I spend it, it won't come back.
Exactly.
But I think we all are cautious at spending money.
Fair.
Like, should I spend this money, or I can use it somewhere else for a better purpose, right?
Fair.
So I think that's okay. But I read a book. There is a girl who just launched a book, Tam Kaur, if I may say. So I love
so
her.
nice,
I adore
yeah.
her.
I do
I
as
like
well.
the way her aura is.
Yeah.
It's so nice. I think she talked about in
Let
one
me
of her
spot.
episodes about scarcity and abundance
What did
mindset.
she?
And then she gave an example of two girls. She's earning the same, and this girl, she goes out, have her nails done. She does this, she does this. But this girl just stays at home, does nothing, keeps on saving, nothing, investing also. So which girl is gonna have more money coming in? So it's like how do I say, money is like I don't know the word. The more you spend it, not on unnecessary stuff, guys,
Needless
but
to
the
say,
more you spend it, the more it will come back.
But having that abundance mindset, that's probably like not a very budgeting thing, but more of a, I want to put out in the universe that I will attract abundance because I am because I'm working for it. It's not like I'm sitting in like my room and just praying and like being like manifesting like, oh, there'll be a lot of money coming and I'm spending it all, right? It's because I'm putting in the work. I am constantly engaging in things and experiences that will lead to whatever, me getting money. So as far as you're putting in the effort and the right intent, it does come back. But
Are you a girl who loves to do budgeting?
I'm bad at it. Okay, can I be very honest?
No, it's not bad. I was not the same. Like when I was in India, I was like, what's budgeting? I know this is my fixed expense. I know this is my miscellaneous expense. What is budgeting? Now, I'm an Excel sheet girl.
Oh, bro, she's so organized. I hate it. I low-key, I'm like, bro,
I'm
stop
an Excel sheet girl right now. I track
nightmare.
my expenses like I owe it to the world. Like I have to show my Excel sheet. I don't know where we're going, but what was your moment when you realized that money is very important to survive in this world? A person who have money, everybody is
Respects
her or
that.
his friends respects. A person who does not have money, I'm not sure.
Facts, bro. Facts. Even though, again, this is no shade to anybody who I call my friend, because it's not the similar case, but generalizing and speaking on broader terms, that's very true. Bro, you have money in your pocket, and this was like something that's said so, generically, but took me a time to realize it's actually fucking true. Like all the cliches, they're kind of true. Like as far as you have money in your pockets, you have people around. Facts. That's on you if those are the kind of people you want to attract or not, but that's a fact.
And I've seen it in the family, most importantly.
Oh, we're doing
when some of the family members have money, everybody will be like, whatever they do is right. But if somebody have lesser money or maybe not earning as much as other person is earning, there's some kind of a weird reaction, a weird, how do I say, I don't know how to put it.
There's a difference in respect and just credibility of that person as a whole. That just because they probably don't make as much, they're maybe not even as smart. Just because. They're probably not even as, the word is not as, important.
Yes, important. I think let's talk about how we got into financial literacy and where we are, what we are doing right now. So even if somebody is listening, they can get some help from.
Of course. So I really felt that lack of talk at home to begin with regards to finances and investing and all that. I think because they were just like, not again in a sexist way, but like she's just a little girl doing her own little thing. She's not really, I mean, they never really talked to me, like sat me down and told me like, oh, this is how you do your taxes. Oh, this is how you invest so that you reap the benefits in your 30s or your 40s or later, right? And then I was the one, especially when the pandemic hit, I had a lot of time on my hands. I got down this spiral of, compounding, investing, and all of that stuff. And I educated myself about it a bunch because I saw a couple of friends who were kind of doing the stock market thing, and it intrigued me. And I was like, I'm just very interested, but I don't know. So I started learning. I actually took financial literacy course as well online, because I was like, so whenever I get into something, I really want to like either I do 200% or nothing. There's no in between. Either I go the extra mile and beyond, or I don't do it at all. So when I did it, I really dive deep into it, and I was very like educating myself, and I realized that that's kind of very cool, the power of compounding. If you just put X amount, that X does not even have to be like a big enough number. Like just a little something every month that is like maybe like 5 to 10% of your income, even that's just spared for investing. That just goes, like my payments are automated for my investing. It just automatically 10% of whatever my income is, it goes away. So I don't like, that's not even my income. I'm like, that's not my money, I'm not touching it.
I know. I think that was a thing I now wish our parents would have told when we were at 20s. Like, we are not that old. We can even start now. I'm just saying. Like, if we were in college and the amount of money we used to earn from the side gigs and whatever that is, 5,000, 6,000, instead of putting that into piggy banks.
Did you actually do that?
Yeah, I used to do that.
Really?
You know
Till what age?
From the very young age, I used to put money in the,
Until what age? Like,
I say maybe 7th, 8th standard.
Oh, okay.
And then
I thought like till your 20s is why I asked.
No.
I was like,
no, the clay one, Bugni, I think that's what
Bugni
you
or
call
Gullak.
And I used to put in, and then on Diwali or on my birthday, I used to break it. I'm like, yay, I'm rich.
Mom got us, just because we used to break it, Mom got us the metallic ones that are the key thingy, just because they'll break it and they'll actually get it. So unless there was like literally no money getting inside because it was so full, we couldn't. But that was such the treasure of opening a Bugni, dude. Like,
so much money.
I can see the notes and coins. It's mad.
I'm like, wow, this must be saved. But there were mostly coins in that. But look, rarely notes.
I remember 5 rupee notes, like the green ones. Oh gosh,
that's nice. But I think I wish, like now my father now, whenever I talk to him, he'll say invest in crypto, invest in stocks, invest in here, invest in there. But now it's so much going on around that it's hard to focus on where to invest unless you have a mentor or a guidance to guide you, like this is where you should invest. Because I am somebody, I think mostly people will relate, unless you are given a guidance to a certain thing, you will not put your step forward to start. For example, if I have to start at this age, unless from somebody they are saying it with full confidence, invest in this. But then they'll say you should do your own research. I mean, I should, but like if they're saying invest in this, I'm like, okay, done investing in this. Okay, tata, bye.
Babe, I get you. Trust me, I low-key wished I had that always, but then that's also just another person. Nobody can predict either the stock market or your investments. So the point being, sure, it's good to have a financial advisor, either professional or otherwise, who's just somebody very well versed with those things. But I guess the best thing is to diversify your investments. So you don't put all your eggs in one basket, the basics. But you can't really again go by, if I tell you, invest in this stock and it does bad.
No, that's the common sense. Like if it does bad, it's not on me, but I have been getting gains on this stock.
Hey.
So if you also want, you can do. Because I remember when I was working back in the office, there was one guy, I think his name was Rahul, and then he was so much into stocks investing at that time. So we used to work, and then he used to see at which stock is coming this, and I used to see, oh, this is interesting, and eventually we became friends. And then he told me Adani stocks, buy Adani stocks, and that was the first stock in my life that I ever bought, that I ever invested my money was Adani stock. And then he was the one who guided me, like this will be okay. Because when somebody says that, you get that confidence in yourself also.
Yeah,
like I
yeah.
should try more, I
Yeah.
should experiment more.
Yeah.
Unless there is nobody around you, you're just like, what should I do?
Yeah.
Like, how many videos will you watch on YouTube?
Yeah, I
I do
get it.
watch videos on how
Yeah.
to invest, but you know, if there's somebody very close to you to
Yeah.
guide, it's better.
It's always good to have, of course.
But then I sold that stocks when I came here. Who will take care of it? I'm like, I was so stupid of selling that. I sold that. I'm like, okay, money. But that was a very good profit, bro.
I bet
Adani
Adani stocks, you said the moment, I'm like, how
Adani
much
stocks
returns
had
did
a
you make?
very good profit. I'm like, bro, money rich. Then I invested in coming here. I'm like, okay, tata, bye.
I kind of, so one thing that I've just not gotten, I don't know, the time or the mental space to, I still invest in whatever like stocks I had in the Indian markets and businesses for the
You do?
most part. Yeah.
Really?
But I have not actually started investing because I've not studied the North American market to know which ones are good enough to invest in, which ones are
I'll
going
tell
to
you
give
one
me
thing.
drastic ups or downs as
Yeah.
well. Because with drastic ups, like I had this friend tell me about how this particular stock like went to 300% in a course of like
Which one?
literally a week. I don't quite remember the name. I'm sorry.
Okay,
It was
we'll put the name if you remember, guys.
sure. I'll ask them. It was some video game property or something like that, and that went to like
Nvidia?
a video game, like something like a gaming company property, something like that. Anyway, so that went like nuts. But the fact with crazy ups is there are crazy downs as well, and they were just like, whoa, it went 300%, I'm gonna keep at it. I'm like, okay. And it kind of dropped drastically, like
Because the market was all down.
yeah, that's more like the practical approach to money. But how has been your emotional relationship with money?
I love this question. Because whenever I'm sad, I spend. Then I'm happy. I think that's
Retail
the
therapy
most
is
worst
real.
thing you can do. I know it's bad. I know you should not like attach your happiness for a, like very small something. I've learned that now. Like I can go for a walk or a run or listen to music or something. I don't have to spend. But I end up spending something when I'm sad. I'm like, better treat myself. And then I'm like, oh shit, money's gone.
Go off, queen.
And then I'm like, oh shit, money's gone. But that's what retail therapy or whatever guilt tripping, whatever that is, it just comes in.
Yeah.
And I have so much on my wish list. I'm like, I'm sad.
Cutie.
Let's just spend it.
Just a good excuse to fucking get the bag I've always wanted.
That's what it. But I think I
Yeah.
am not sure how else would you associate emotions with money.
Honestly, okay, I love your answer, by the way. But okay, where I asked it from was again, how do you feel about money just in general? Okay, the most cliche statement. Do you think money can buy happiness?
Money cannot buy the happiness, but money can give you the sources which can buy you the happiness.
Hey, she got it right, didn't she now?
Yeah.
So I think, people who say that money cannot buy happiness, it's partially true. It's like neither right nor wrong, right? It's because directly, no, money can't buy you happiness, because I've seen a shit ton of rich people being fucking depressed. So well. But it can get you, again, the experiences. Maybe like traveling is something I would spend on guilt-free. Like I'm always the kind of person, are you also, I don't know, but like I would spend on experiences over materialistic goods always.
Yeah, I'm turning into that person, but I was
The materialistic girly. That's fair too. Honestly, yeah, I think as much as I'm growing up, it's kind of weird, but like I genuinely get so much more happiness from making a little trip than getting like a luxury or designer bag.
Yeah.
Like it's there. I love it. I'll feel good every time I hold it. And no, but it's not the same.
I know.
Experiences.
I so want to go for a Montreal trip. I was asking Avni for so long time and other friends.
Yeah.
And then Avni just like, why don't you go alone? It's not that far. I'm like, should I go alone?
Yeah, solo backpacking, babe.
For the love of God. If I go solo alone, she's like, who will kidnap you? I'm like, see, that's the thing. I don't have that.
I will get kidnapped. I will go there. You have faith in me, bro.
I'm like, no, please come. Somebody come with me.
God,
But she's
this
like,
girl.
go
Yeah.
alone for once
Yeah.
in your life. But I don't know. I really want to experience a lot many things.
Yeah.
But then I don't end up doing that because I don't have somebody to accompany with. I know it's a very that kind of a thing, but
I know, hey, that's okay.
But it's like
It's not about perfection, it's about genuinely being you, bro. So that's completely okay.
I
So
just need a company with me.
that's been me lately. I'll be very honest. So I've always it's a very funny story, Loki, because I used to tell my mom, like, before I get married, I'm definitely going on a solo backpacking trip, preferably Europe, but like whatever.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Me, whatever, we'll see." And I was like, "I am going, babe." And then I came here to live a whole solo life, where I was like, bro, I just need people now. Like, okay, unpopular opinion. Why do you think generational wealth is looked down upon? Let me explain. When I say that generational wealth, I do not come from generational wealth. I believe neither of us do. And but I do really, really aim to build that for my kids and generations to come. So I find it very like funny in a way that people are like, the Hindi phrase is very much more accurate, so I'll just say it like, baap ke paise pe aish kar rahe hain. Yeah, because his father really worked his ass out to give his children the life that they deserve, or maybe not even deserve, but you know, like the best life possible and all the luxuries of life. So why is it like low-key kind of looked down upon?
I think that two answers for it. I think it's not looked down upon. It may like by some people, but I think it also depends on the children or the kids who are doing
Inheriting that,
ash. Like they are just spending their father's money, like it's never gonna run out of money, or they're doing something on their own as well, and then they have their baap ke paise ka support. You know what I mean? Like if they're just like being the spoiled kids, like just doing everything, father will send money, they just sit on the couch and order something, then I think that phrase is made for that, baap ke paise pe aish kar rahe hain. But unless you are earning for yourself, you're building something for yourself, you're doing something for yourself, and plus you have the support.
I think that's that for a fact. Like I would want my kids to acknowledge the fact that damn, my mother and my father really busted their ass. So I might as well like live up to their whatever legacy or like.
But I would say watching more of an immigrant's account help you with investments, because we don't know, coming as a student, then going what to break down. I watched a video where he totally broke down every from student, if you're earning this much, if you're on a work permit, you're earning this much, if you're on a PR, you're earning this much, and this is how you should invest. And that was so accurate to everybody who was earning. I'm like, woo, this is a nice video. I would love to watch that.
And I think that's all for today. It was a good chat, and for all our women out there especially, guys, be financially independent. And let's start this conversation in the comments. Would love to hear your stories and your relationship with money. And that's all for today. See you in our next one.